All right, well, we are here with Dr. Sangeeta Wagener, who is our Chief Integration Officer, and then Jason Elenberger, who is the Site Manager for Javara, who is the company that we have partnered with to implement clinical trials at Nevada Health Centers. And we're here today to talk a little bit about the clinical trials program. So thank you both for being here. Really appreciate your time and attention. Wanted to start just by doing introductions. So we'll start with Dr. Wagener. If you could just introduce yourself and describe your role at Nevada Health Centers.
Great. Yes. Thank you, Josh. So I, again, am Dr. Sangeeta Wagener. I'm a family physician who's been in practice in Northern Nevada now for 24 years. I'm the Chief Integration Officer at Nevada Health Centers. I've been with the company now for 2 years. I oversee the telemedicine program, as well as collaborate as the clinical dyad on population health initiatives. And I head up the clinical research division here at NVHC.
Excellent, excellent. Thank you. And Jason, tell us a little bit about you.
Yep. So my name is Jason Elenberger, and I am Javara's Manager of Site Operations for the Nevada Health Centers Partnership. Super excited about all the offerings of clinical trials that we have. It has been quite the experience trying to get everybody on board, and especially with the new partnership, we have a lot of great and exciting studies that are up and coming, and an active one as well.
Dr. Wagener, tell me a little bit, how did Nevada Health Centers get into the clinical trial space? Tell me about that journey.
Sure. Yes. So this was Walter, our CEO's vision. In 2018, he met a physician at a conference who was describing his own journey into clinical trials and how he introduced it into his practice. And Walter, heard the considerations and thought this would be a wonderful service line for NVHC. He recruited me in 2022 to start this program and division up. And me also being new to clinical research, I did my own research and found Javara as a great collaborative partner to help us into this space.
So Javara, let's talk a little bit about that word. What does it mean? Who is Javara, Jason? What is Javara?
Yeah, so Javara, we are an integrated research organization or an IRO. So essentially what that means is we have embedded space to conduct clinical trials within our healthcare partners. So we have 5 different healthcare partners across 7 different states, Nevada Health Centers being our newest partnership. Our mission is to deliver clinical research as a care option. So historically speaking, if a patient wanted to partake in a clinical trial, they would either need to be at a major university or at an independent research site. So because of this partnership, we are within Nevada Health Centers. So we are able to meet the patients where they are and give them all these different clinical trial offerings.
So let's expand on that a little bit. Maybe, what is a clinical trial by definition, and why are they so important? How can patients benefit from those?
Sure. So from an industry standpoint, they're essential in the development of new medications and therapies. So, and we know the process to get these new medications and therapies to market can take up to, 10 to 15 years, partly because of the lack of participation of participants in the trials. So that's why it's so important to offer these clinical trials to patients of all backgrounds and such. Also physicians. There's only 3% of the population of physicians in the U.S. that participate as principal investigators. So it's just basically needing more people to be involved in order to develop new therapies that are needed.
Yeah, I was just going to say that there's a lot of benefits to the patients that partake in these clinical trials. I think specifically, there was a recent poll that we did internally within Javara to all the different patients across our healthcare partners that partake in a clinical trial. It was about 95% agreed that adding clinical research either significantly or somewhat improved their overall quality of care. So that's just taking it one step further from what Dr. Wagener said to show that our patients really do appreciate these trials, and it really is an extension of the great care that they're already getting at Nevada Health Centers.
How many trials does Nevada Health Centers, or will they operate in the coming weeks, months, et cetera?
So we currently are offering one study that is active. That is a cardiovascular disease study. We also have 2 vaccine trials that will be starting in the fall. One's for norovirus and the other one is for pediatric RSV. And then we have a neurology study, which we're super excited about. That one will be an Alzheimer's study that starts in the fall as well. So currently we have 4 awarded studies and we will continue to grow. At the end of the year, we could have more than that. So we're super excited about expanding. Obviously, we will look to go to other therapeutic areas as Nevada Health Centers grows in those specialty care areas. So we will have different offerings in the future.
Speak about this from a patient's perspective. If they're interested in enrolling in a clinical trial, what are the steps like for them? What's the process like?
So if a patient is interested, and we will always have a study for every patient, I think that there are, whether it's a vaccine study or it's a specific indication, we will find the right study for a patient. But if they are interested, we take them through a pre-screening. Every single clinical trial has different inclusion and exclusion criteria that somebody needs to meet in order to be eligible. And we want to make sure that entering into that clinical trial is the right fit for them. So with the oversight of Dr. Wagener and our research team, we take them through a pre-screening. If they do qualify, we will then take the next steps to bring them in. Every clinical trial is different, but sometimes if there's a randomization aspect to it, they will then be randomized onto either the study drug or the placebo, and then they will continue those visits for the duration of the clinical trial. Vaccine season, their participation could be a couple months. Some of the other studies could be up to 5 years. So every one is different and unique in its own way. And if a patient is interested, I would recommend reaching out to our team and getting some more information about the studies that we currently have, and we can help find the best fit for them.
And as important it is for our patients to be aware of the offerings that we have in terms of clinical trial availability. Dr. Wagener, this question is for you. How do you see our staff supporting this effort? What do you want them to know and how can they be involved?
Great. Yeah, thank you for asking that. So staff can be aware of our clinical trials program and offer information again on how to access the program through Jason, Rebecca, or myself. But even furthermore, they can participate in trials, talk to their family members, to their friends to participate as well. So on all levels.
Yep. And Josh, along those lines, we put out a survey specific to Nevada Health Centers patients, and it showed that 96% of patients would partake in a clinical trial if recommended by their provider. So I think that really goes to show the trust that our patients have with those providers. So we will rely on them heavily to spread the word and help us, find the right fit for each patient.
Well, I think we've covered most of what we need to cover today. I appreciate you taking, again, time and attention to be here and share a little bit more about clinical trials at Nevada Health Centers and the partnership with Javara. What else, in closing, what else would you like our patients or our staff or anyone seeing this video to know about this program? What would be your parting thoughts?
Sure. So I just want to reiterate again, for patients who may have diseases without current cures or treatments, or those which are too costly, clinical trials can provide them with an alternative today. So that's really important in terms from the patient aspect. This is a great opportunity to bring clinical trials to our region. We're only the second FQHC in the United States that is doing this, offering clinical trials as a care option. So that is phenomenal in and of itself. And although we're just starting in Carson City, we look forward to expanding this program to reach out to our 20 clinical sites across the state.
And for me, I think it's important for patients to understand that these clinical trials are an extension of your care, and there's also no cost to you. So all of these clinical trials that you will partake in, there's no out-of-pocket cost. On the other end of that, you could be compensated for your time. So I think that that's important to realize that you will not, or your insurance will not be billed for these clinical trials that you partake in. So that really does decrease the barriers that some patients might have within their clinical care that we are able to overcome with these specific clinical trials and the different offerings that we have. I also want to mention that we have vaccine studies, but the other indications that are important to realize for patients are obesity, cardiovascular disease, hypertension, asthma, neurology. We really have a lot of different offerings that we currently have within the studies that we'll be actively enrolling, as well as what we're going to have in the future. So if you're interested, I encourage everybody to reach out to your provider or our research team. We'd love to have a conversation, and we will start to grow as well. So currently we are in the Carson City, Reno area, but we do plan to eventually be in Elko as well as Southern Nevada. So we have a lot of great and exciting things coming for our patients.
Indeed, indeed. Well, I know Nevada Health Center's mission is to provide, quality care to all Nevadans, and I think the Javara NVHC partnership is certainly doing a lot to further that mission. Thank you again both for being here today. Really appreciate it. And if anybody has any questions about clinical trials, Jason, they can reach out to you. Dr. Wagener, reach out to you, and we'll get them the information they need. So thank you so much.